Welcome into another episode of Cheat Code Weekly, where we discuss everything video game collecting and investing. I am, of course, Greg, joined once again here by Henry. And today, what we're going to talk about is the importance of variants, the importance of print runs as it comes to video game collecting. Especially on the sealed and graded side, we always see these debates when the big auctions come around. Is it more important to get a slightly earlier print or even a first print versus getting a later print copy, but in really nice condition? So should a 9.0 third print Mike Tyson outsell a 9.6 fourth print? Does only first print matter? Should fifth and sixth and seventh, should we see price changes on those? Or what would cause something to, why would this hobby see people care about those more? It's interesting because with cards, right? Shadowless Charizard PSA 9, which you'd call a second print for the Pokemon collectors, goes for about $4,300 on eBay. That was the most recent sale. So you could get a second print PSA 9 for $4,300, which is about the same as a PSA 1, 2, or 3 first print Charizard card. They all sell for around 4,000. Damaged copies, right? You can either get a damaged first print or a literal, like, pack fresh mint second print.
So for games, you got something like a Final Fantasy X on the PS2, where you got the Squaresoft one, which is the first print. The last 98 A++ sold for around 2,700. But then you got the much rarer Square Enix one, which had this like brief period between the greatest hits and not greatest hits, like the Black Label copy. Those are much rarer to find. And even though it's like a second print, it sells for more. The last copy, 98 plus 2 years ago, sold for around 3,700, but it was only a 98 plus, not an A plus plus. So I would say because of its rarity, you see some non-first prints for games outsell first prints. And in this case, it's probably because I think, Squaresoft copies are just more like much more widely available. It probably is the collectors who want Final Fantasy X. There's just, enough Squaresoft copies, so they want to go after that chase of like a
Yeah,
Square
it's
Enix
interesting
copy.
because variants are either print run, like first, second, third, fourth, where everyone chases for the earliest one that exists, the chasing after the first prints, or you get these very rare examples like Final Fantasy, Mega Man 2 with no stripe, right? The no stripe
Mm.
variant's way more rare than finding a original print Mega Man 2. And then you have collectors on either side of the debate as to which one should be seen as the grail of the hobby or the better copy. Like you talk about the Final Fantasy X, right? I have zero interest in the Square Enix copy, like zero. I don't care. It's a second print.
Well, I think another difference is that when you talk about these variants, it depends on how educated you are. So when you have like new people coming in, they're just like, "Oh, big shiny number, that's the one I want," no matter if it's like an oval or round. I think we saw an example of that recently, like a SMB2 where was it like 9.8 or 9.6 oval outsold a round seal like
Yeah, I think it was a
9.2?
9.8
Like,
oval beat the 9.6 round, something like that.
yeah. And there's not that much of a difference between 9.6 and 9.8. And in no world should it be even the same price or, but somehow the oval outsold it because, big shiny number. But I think for example, for the Final Fantasy X, I think the real collectors of that game want the rare version because they feel like Squaresoft is just available and they can get it at any time.
Yeah. So, once it becomes so rare to get that other variant, and coupled with education, like you said, maybe it's like the true collectors are chasing after that, right? Meanwhile, the
Yeah.
investment people chase after your first print copy. But I do you is that enough? What actually matters? Like, is where I get to an issue with that Final Fantasy, even with the Mega Man 2, where I don't want to pay up though past the first print copy personally.
I think the people buying the Square Enix copies are not people like you. I think they're people who feel like Final Fantasy X is their favorite Final Fantasy game, and they just want to have both copies. And in order
It,
to
it,
get up
it's
the Square Enix one, there's only so few of them, so they're battling other Final Fantasy X collectors.
Yes. And there might be people like we're talking already here, and you think that variants don't matter, first print, second print, who cares about all this stuff? The most basic example I can give you guys of this, it's just player's choice versus Black Label, right? Player's choice, GameCube, N64, all that stuff. Greatest hits PlayStation games. That's the easiest first versus second print to establish. And across this entire hobby, it is established that in almost every instance, Black Label outsells your player's choice, your greatest hits, whatever it is like that. And that's CIB, that's sealed collecting, all of that. I know some people are going to say, oh, well, Silent Hill 2 greatest hits actually is the better. No one cares. We're not playing games here. It's if you're collecting, the Black Label almost always outsells the greatest hits copy, whether or not it's optimal.
NBA Ballers Platinum. Don't forget that.
Yeah,
NBA
right.
Ballers. Yeah.
Right. There's very Digimon World 3 greatest hits.
There
Extremely
you
rare
go.
copies of these
There
greatest
you
hits
go.
games. You're going into the niche of the niche at that point.
Yeah. The
With
true
NES,
collectors, right?
oh
The
yeah,
true
the real
collectors.
collectors, the nitty gritty
Yeah,
there. So with
exactly.
NES and Atari, I mean, as we learn more about Atari too, these other variants and first prints, this hobby is a lot harder than a lot of other hobbies. I know you'll probably argue it's not, or you've argued that it's not as hard as, or just as hard as other hobbies. But with trading cards, right? I tell you guys about first edition Charizard and stuff. There's a big stamp on there, which makes it very easy for everyone to be like, oh, hey, look, there's a first edition Charizard card. That's the one that came first. We're all going to go and collect that. Meanwhile, in video games here, we have stuff such as print codes. We have where the game was made. Is the box Rev A? Does it have hang tab? There's different warranty information. All of these can be indicators of a first run or a first print, but like there is an education thing that goes with that because the information is not in your face. And I think a lot of the time it is ignored or straight up missed by collectors.
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's just something that people need to learn through education and through time. And then when you see sales like that SMB2 where the oval outsells the round, I guess in a way it's good to see new people coming in because there definitely people like you and me, we're not gonna, pay more for a 9.8 oval than a 9.6 round. But, it just takes
Is
time
that
and
wrong?
education.
Should we be? Should we be paying more for the 9.8 oval? Like, I think Mike Tyson's another big example where actually a 9.8 A plus or A plus plus outsold the Rev A round, I think. And it was just like, oh, pay for condition.
That was during the pandemic time, and that was going for crazy numbers. So, but that's new money. I think we should care about it. We should care about what comes first. But we also come up with examples like Final Fantasy X, where when the first print is just so available and out there, the true collectors actually want something like much more harder to obtain.
Surely there
So.
is a point where you would not take an earlier print, right? Like just condition wise.
Yeah, of course. Like the condition needs to like obviously if it's on par, you're always
Yeah,
gonna
because
take the
everything
first print.
equal, we
Yeah.
generally go earlier. Everything equal.
But then for example, like SMB2, the 9.8 versus 9.6, the person who got the 9.8 decided that that point 0.2 difference was enough for him to go after oval. So I don't know, man. Like I personally wouldn't. Maybe the cutoff is like if the round was like a 9.4, I still might take the round. But then when it goes like maybe like two steps beyond too far down, then maybe I want the oval. I don't know. I personally don't know. I
You
personally don't
get
know
to a
which one to
point though
go
where it's
for.
like like people like I'm doing my mission Mario, right? And I'm going to spend 10 to 15,000. I can only afford late print copies if I actually want to get like 9.0, 9.2, 9.4, right? If I want to go to any kind of earlier variant, I have to buy like a 7, maybe a 7.5, maybe not even, and that's I'm not getting a hang tab. Like I'm literally just getting a round seal. At that point, I literally can't justify the difference in eye appeal just to go earlier when I'm only going from eighth print to sixth print. Or you know what I mean? I'm not moving my way to the earliest prints anyway.
I mean, based off of the recent sales, you might be able to get a hang tab. I don't know. You might get it like
Yeah.
7.0 hang tab. It's
Yeah,
possible.
okay, but yeah, 7.0, No, I don't think I
You wait,
can.
wait,
What
wait,
it
wait,
was like an
wait.
8.5 B plus for like what, 40K? Surely a 7.0 is
Yeah,
still
but
at 20.
7.0 is probably half that.
Yeah, there's
You
still
could try to
20K.
you can push to 20K for a hang tab. Just sell off more of your Digimon cards.
I don't think I want to push 20K for 7.0 though as well. Like you
Mm.
get to that point of like, I don't know.
It
Like
just looks too crappy. It just looks too crappy. You wouldn't want it.
yeah, kind of. Kind of. I don't want
So
to have to
you'd
chase
rather
after like Action Comics in a 2.0 grade. It just like I don't know at that point.
So you rather a 9.4, which also may not be 15K anymore,
I know.
to
I
a
know.
seven. You rather have a 9.4 than a 7.0 hang tab.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would.
All right.
The condition gap is too large at that point.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. It's just personal preference. I don't. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. 7.0 is pretty 7.0 is pretty busted. Maybe like the hang tab's not even there. The
Yeah,
sombrero's
where
missing.
would
Who
you toss your
knows?
money then? Which one would you go for?
Yeah, probably 9.4. It's just 7.0 is just too busted to look
Kind of
at.
sucks.
It
And
might as well just be CIB at the point. You might as well try to go after like a matte sticker like low grade, right?
it's weird because with comics, I mean, I've looked at stuff from the 60s, just Marvel, Golden Age, Silver, whatever you want to call it. But I've looked at, like first appearance of Doctor Doom and stuff. I can afford like a 2 or 3.0 grade and it's still multiple thousands. And I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll do that. And I don't know, for it doesn't hit the same way as buying junk, and I don't know why. When I buy a low grade or looking at a low grade comic, I don't see it as quite so junk.
I think it's because you've seen the prices over and over again and reinforces the idea that, oh, a 2.0 is worth $5,000. But then when you come into games where it like the prices are still new compared like graded games wise, prices are still new compared to these comics that have been selling over and over again, maybe you're just like, oh, there's just not enough confidence for you to buy a 7.0, I feel like. If you keep seeing 7.0 selling for 10, 15K, you're like, oh, that's how much it's worth. Maybe I should buy it.
That actually might be a really good point because even with these hang tab copies, right? And I guess let's lay out some of the biggest variants first here with Super Mario Bros. Uh,
Yeah.
CIB copies, that's where you chase your matte sticker and your gloss sticker. You guys all know about the gloss sticker sealed copy that exists, the $100,000 sale from 2019. What is it? Two of them known to exist now of glossies?
Two of them, yeah.
Two of it, yeah, two at least known that are like pictured. We know they exist out there. So for
Yeah.
matte sticker first print, it doesn't exist. You cannot get a factory sealed first print Super Mario Bros., which is a super interesting distinction because then the best chase does become a second print with those two gloss stickers that exist. And the chase for matte sticker becomes CIB, where we now see them sell for like 10,000, 20,000 for really nice copies. What, 50,000 maybe
Yeah.
for the nicest one? It was nuts.
I mean, the nicest one is still not out there. I think it was like a 9.6 WATA or something like that. And I think a crossover CGC. So you're not going to see that one for a while, but a 9.0 mat sold for 32K last year in August. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
9.0.
That might be what I was thinking of then, because I knew it had like a massive five-figure sale on
Yeah.
like first print Mario Bros.
And then the 8.0 sold for half that 16K a few months later.
Yeah,
Would you rather
so
have a matte sticker 8.0 or a 9.4 A plus oval at 15K? It's first print. You love first print. You're like, oh, if it's not first print, variants don't matter. That's what you said.
I know, I know, I know, I know. Oh my
But it's
God.
not sealed. But it's not
Yeah,
sealed.
yeah, yeah. That's where my hang up is because I'm so sealed brained that I
Yeah.
like can't like I understand the objective rarity about an 8.0 grade matte sticker first print copy, all that stuff, but it's like, oh my gosh, dude, that is tough. I
Yeah.
almost feel dumb paying that much for a CIB. I know I shouldn't
Yo,
because
you feel dumb. Wow. You're gonna get all the CIB hate in the comments right
I know,
now.
I know, I
Everyone's gonna
know,
hate you,
I know.
man. That's bad.
It
Oh,
it's tough for me to wrap my brain around after doing sealed so specifically and so like I honed in on sealed, I chased sealed that it's like,
yeah.
hey, you buy the first print opened for as much as you can buy. Yeah, 9.4 A plus sealed copy.
Mm. I mean, you made a point before where like the sealed it's its own state. It could always go to CIB, but CIB can't go back to sealed. So I think that's in your brain. You'd rather have that in its pristine form,
Yeah, I think it's a state
where
of being. I'm paying for
state
the
of
state of
being.
being. But like,
Yeah.
obviously, it sucks buying a ninth print and not a. Would you take the first print? Would you buy a CIB?
No. Yeah, I'm the same way as you. I'm a sealed. Yeah, I'm single track minded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I would only buy a CIB if it only existed in a CIB form, right? Obviously. If it doesn't exist sealed, then it doesn't exist sealed.
Okay, but like the matte sticker, like I think you're saying Super Mario Bros. Exists in sealed forms in different prints.
No. No. What I'm trying to say is I would only buy CIB games if they're only CIB. You know, so for example, like the Donkey Kong competition card, right? It was never
Okay.
sealed,
Yeah,
so I'm okay with that. But I want
yeah,
it in its original form, whatever
yeah. So
that is.
variant, that's the big thing here. It's like, does first print matter enough for you to want to buy the CIB?
A
Because sealed doesn't
CIB,
exist.
yeah.
And it's funny that we're both sitting here,
Yet, can you imagine if a match sticker came out
change the whole hobby.
in
Like that,
in any condition?
any
No,
condition,
but
that
okay,
would.
but here's the interesting question. Would you rather have the 9.4 A++ gloss, or let's say the matte came out like 808, right? Yeah.
I think I would lean first. I think I have
Really?
to. I
You
think
will have
so.
to lead
I
first.
think because it's
Wow.
literally first at that point on the most iconic game that exists. Um,
It almost doesn't matter what the condition is then for
Almost.
you.
If it's like a 4, man, if it literally, you know what I mean? If it's trash,
If someone
okay.
stomped on it, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like we see with the Charizard cards, right? Like the 1, 2, 3, those grades are the same
Yeah.
price as the Shadowless 9. So I think
Okay.
with games, if we saw a matte sticker be, it changes because it's pop 1, you know what I mean? But like, a matte sticker 1, 2, 3, yeah, okay, the glossy's gonna um be worth more, probably should be worth more, all that stuff. The gap, a lot of different things, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. But honestly, I think you might be right. But I think the 9.4 would still outsell it if it was like anything below a 9. Because you see that condition still matters.
Well,
People still pay up for a condition.
should they?
It's considered
Should they?
it's considered a sticker. So, it's a matte gloss, sure, yeah, one's first, one's second, but it's a sticker seal.
Yeah, so
Okay,
are you
anyway,
saying it shouldn't matter? It's not important enough. Is that what you're saying?
if the gap is too big in grades,
This,
yes.
yeah, a change of sticker doesn't matter
If
enough.
if if it was a 9.0 anything, even 9.0 B plus, I think the matte would outsell the gloss. But
Well, let's
anything
move to hang
below a
tab.
9.0,
Let's go to hang
huh?
tab copies then. This is another big NES variant.
Yeah.
Hang tabs will differentiate a lot of games as to whether it's a first print or not. And with the case of Mario Bros. Here and a lot of black box titles, you go to like third print, fourth print, fifth print, sixth print, and seventh, maybe just six that
I
are
think it's
all
up to
hang tabs.
6. Yeah,
What?
I think it's up to 6 for
Okay,
SMB
so it's from third
SMB
to
alone.
sixth print. You all have hang tabs with small variations of codes on the back of the box or a little NESTM added here. Do those actually matter, or is it just get a hang tab copy anywhere from 3 to 6 and like go on your way?
Yeah, currently it definitely doesn't matter. It's like one code, two code, three code. Most people don't even know where to look for the
One
codes. It's
fish, two
like
fish. Like what are we doing
it's
under?
just like, yo, bro, if it's a hang tab, it's a hang tab. If it's not, that's it. Should it matter in the future? I think it needs to be it's a long game. I think if for it to really matter, it needs to be over a long period of time. A lot of people who are educated and like people who've come into the hobby for years to actually care if it's a fourth print or a fifth print or a sixth print.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and say no. Never. Won't matter.
Never.
I don't think it will. No, I think it's too small of a nuance that just doesn't differentiate. It's not even on the front of the box, right? Which I think does matter because it's on the back, so
Okay.
you don't even like see it on first glance. I think most I think it will always be that most people who interact with this hobby won't even know what that terminology means. They'll
Of
just say, oh, it
course.
says hang tab copy, a little bit of text beside, you have a Super Mario Bros.
Okay. I think it should matter, but I agree with you. I don't think it will matter for a really long time. If ever. If
I think
ever.
it should just because I am a purist about prints
Yeah.
and variations and stuff like that. So like I think it should, but I don't see it like I don't see it happening.
No, but you think it's either first print or nothing. Almost. Like obviously,
Almost.
almost. Obviously,
Almost.
like if it's a hang
Yeah,
tab,
there's major
then
variations. There's major
yeah, major
variations and minor
variations.
variations. Yes.
Yes. The
Hang tab is
minor
a major.
variations for non-first print um variations don't matter, in your opinion.
Yes, that's
Okay.
where I am right now with this hobby, and
Okay.
I don't know if that'll change.
Yeah. I agree. It doesn't matter currently for sure, like in market pricing, and yeah, it will take a long time if it ever will. So
So, you get into like we can go to oval Mario Bros, right? Even with ovals, I think there's what, 3 or 4 different variants of oval Mario Bros that exist.
yeah, TM
So,
and then USA Canada code and then R. But you
yeah,
also forgot to mention the round without the hang tab. That sells for like
right.
a
Yeah.
fourth. That sells for like a fourth of the price of a hang tab because you're sort of like stuck in the middle between non-hang tab and not an oval. So it does get the premium for not being oval, but it doesn't
Yes.
get the hang tab premium. So you're
Yeah.
sort of like
Okay, it's funny.
the
Like as
stepchild.
much as I would love a hang tab copy, if I could just get a Rev A circle seal, I would probably take that in higher condition still. Like give me a 9.4 A plus Rev A circle versus 8.0 hang tab. Like I understand
Okay.
again. I know, I
Okay.
know, I
Okay.
know.
It's a hang tab though. All
I
right.
know, I know that big circle again is on the front of the box. So if we put a
Okay.
oval seal and a circle seal beside each other, I'll put them on the screen here in case you guys don't know, but you can immediately see which one's the earlier copy. It's
Yeah.
just like your actual shelf and eye appeal is
Yeah.
affected. It
That's
changes it.
fair. So everyone knows that Greg only looks at the front of the game and not the back of the game. So let this be known forever that Greg only looks at the front. Got it. Cool.
Okay, Donkey Kong Country, I will fight you. There's the
Okay.
copy with the ESRB above the UPC code or whatever,
Yeah.
and the second print
Yeah.
doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Minor variant, I would say, on the back of the box, small text, but because it differentiates first versus second print, I think it matters.
But you're giving a 9.4 first print versus a 9.8. I'm gonna take the 9.8 because
A
it's in the back
90.
of the box.
Oh, you're talking about
Second
Donkey
print.
Kong Country. You'd take the nicer
Yeah,
second
Donkey
print.
Kong Country.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, it's Super Mario Kart. You own a Super Mario Kart,
Okay.
don't you?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So are you going to take the 9.4 without the little game pack text? Does that game pack text matter?
No, I will take the 9.8 second print. I never
Really?
said, yeah,
Really?
yeah, because it's in the back of the box, right? I'm not so much of a first print snob like
Yeah,
you
I am
are.
more than you then. I definitely am more than you.
So you would take a 9.4 first print over a 9.8
Yeah,
later print.
yeah, I would. Even
How
probably
about
a
9.2? Like
9.2.
what even 9.2?
I think 9.2A plus would be my cut line. Where,
Okay.
if you're going to give me a 9.8 A plus plus, and you know what I mean, Donkey Kong Country or the Mario Kart or something, where it's a very small text change on the back of the box, even on the front, it's like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, like 9.2A plus first print, man, for sure.
Okay.
And
All right.
another then, we talk about these very minor text changes with first print emphasis. The
Yeah.
oval Mario SOQ or seal of quality, sorry, the TM versus
Yeah.
R and stuff, don't care at all. I don't care at all on Mario Bros. I don't
Yeah.
care at all on Mario 3. Like you can get left bros and then right bros has TM and R. Don't care whatsoever on those. But Legend of Zelda, it's TM versus R on the front of the box, first print and second print. I think you'll agree on that one. That like what would you be willing to accept on a second print Legend of Zelda NES? Where you'd take the second print versus the first. Because what, the first print
The
8.0
fir-
sold like 300K.
yeah, the first print has to be like below like the second print needs to be like 98 A plus plus, and the first print needs to be below like 85.
Okay,
You know.
okay. So
Yeah.
so you're a bit choosy yourself there as to when you'll come for it.
Yeah. Because but like you said, it's on the front of the box. I feel like
But it's the smallest text change in the world, though. Like, yeah,
you're
it's on the
right.
front of the box. You can't
Yeah,
even
I
see
mean
it.
you're
You
right.
couldn't see it. If I held it here, there's no shot you'd be able to tell if it was a TM or R.
But I think the Zelda is just such it's a more important game, to be honest, than like Super Mario Kart first or second print. That Yeah, I think a first print really matters. Like, and I think it shows with the market pricing too, right? People are gonna pay up for almost whatever condition copy of a TM versus, ladder or water screenshots.
Yep. Like, yes,
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I think it should be like that almost always. So that's why I wanted to bring up that example as well, because you
Yeah,
know.
but we've already come up with examples where that's not the case, right?
Yes, I well that I then and they might just be like in instances of the oval versus circle Mario 2, uneducated buyers, people coming in like you said, big shiny number on top. Um,
Yeah.
I think in order for variance, like over time, right? Say 5, 10 years from now, how long do you think this runway is where people will care about fourth, fifth, sixth print Super Mario Bros. Copies?
20, 30 years.
Oh, you're talking. Oh my gosh,
Yeah, we're talking about like
we
you
might be
need like a
dead.
new. I won't be dead. I don't know about you, but we need like a new crop of people to come in, like collectors to come in and also be educated about it for it to like really come, like really care.
Would
I
there
I,
be an
I think
information loss over years?
I mean I think with the Water Pop Report it definitely helps to have something like set in stone already, like online. Will there be information loss?
You
It's
know what I mean? Like we're
possible.
passionate and we're like, oh my God, like fourth print with the codes and everything. And like in 20 years,
Yeah.
I
I
don't know,
mean, in
like
20 years, you might not be around, but I probably will still be around. So maybe I'll be still be hard, but oh, the one code is better than the three code, you
yeah, still
know?
beating your
Even
drum.
though, yeah, it should be worth
Square Enix
20%
FF10.
more.
Like you gotta buy
Yeah,
Square
Square
Enix.
Enix FF10. Hey, it's not me that's saying it's worth more than market is. I'm
No,
not the
so
one buying the
you
the
don't care
the
about Square Enix
tiny
FF10? I
ones.
thought you were on that one.
Um,
Like,
I
is that one
appreciate
better than
it.
Squaresoft? Which would you
I
chase?
appreciate it for its rarity. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Not necessarily which one I'd rather. I just appreciate for its rarity.
Yeah, I feel like in this market, as it stands right now, 2025, we're still in a place where condition I don't want to say always, obviously it's not always, but condition matters a lot right now in this hobby versus any kind of minor variant, 100%, and even compared to some first prints.
Yeah, I think that just takes some education.
You would
But
agree that's
I
where we're
do
at right
think,
now?
yeah, for sure. Like we were to give example of SMB
Okay.
too, but I think there even in the future, once people are educated, there will be a point where people say, I'd rather have the second print. Maybe that's like I don't want a 9.4 first print, I want a 9.8 second print.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah, yeah.
will
I
be
think
that difference.
you'll always have people who hunt that
Yeah,
specifically.
for
Condition
sure.
hunting. It's like people who just chase after bad print tens or tens in bad games or black labels
Mhm.
of bad cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Interesting.
these are not bad franchises. We're talking about Mario's and stuff. We're not talking about like run-of-the-mill IPs.
No,
But
no, I
even for
know, but
then,
you
yeah.
see people who spent like what was it, NBA Rap Jam in a 10 or something for like
Oh
15,000.
yeah. I
Like
mean, but
you get
that
people
was
trilogy
yeah.
edition GTA games, right? In the 10.0, those were selling for like five, six, seven, $1,000 just because it's a 10.
But that's what that that's like the hype praise where it's like, oh, it's a 10, it's so rare, and now we know it's not so rare anymore.
We
But
do, but okay, the 10 now sells for about 250, 300. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, right?
yeah, yeah.
I think you agree you'd rather have like a 9.0A first print, right?
Yeah, of course.
I
Yeah.
don't know if that outsells a Trilogy 10. Like, I think we're at a spot where the Trilogy 10 and like a 9.0, for, especially a raw first print, that the Trilogy is going to beat it.
I mean, but the thing is, like when you make these comparisons, you got to look at like what's out there. The pop for trilogy editions is like hundreds, thousands,
Yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
hundreds for each one of them, at least thousands of tens.
Yeah, there's
Like
hundreds of
I can get it at
9.88
any
plus plus.
time. I can legit get them at any time. So I why should I care about it?
Why do people pay more for it then?
Because they're new people who just want to have a 10.
You really
They're
think it
not
is
people
just
like
like
you and
new
us.
people, like just
Yes.
uneducated new people?
Are you gonna buy a trilogy 10?
I'm I'm not an idiot.
Oh,
Like
oh, well, there you go. I mean, you'll spend 350 for Celeste, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll
not
rather
trilogy.
play.
Yeah.
Are those
Okay.
the options?
Gotcha.
Celeste or like
Yeah,
GTA
Celeste
trilogy?
or trilogy. Yeah.
I just think like I know you're saying it's new uneducated buyers. I think there's a subset of people who will never care about print as much as they do about condition. That's the point I'm
That's
trying to make with
fair.
the trilogies there.
Yeah.
That there'll be a subset who will always chase condition.
Yeah, but that's fine because they're spending like 200 to 300 bucks. But when you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars, that's when you should care more, right? You should
You
care
should.
more.
You should.
Yeah, you
But
should.
I don't know if we're gonna see it. I don't know if we'll see it. Like you said, maybe 20, 30 years.
Oh, you're talking about a minor variants. Yeah,
Yeah, minor
I
variants,
agree with.
just
Yeah,
yeah. Any kind of different, like, okay, I know GTA Trilogy is a big one. It's very obvious, but yeah, minor variations, fourth prints outselling, you know what I mean? Or third prints
yeah,
outselling fourth prints, stuff like that.
yeah. I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Buy, sell, hold of the week. God of War on PS2. I'm pretty sure there's like what, an Amazon series coming soon with this? Like we're getting
Is
something.
there? Oh,
Yeah, it's
I don't
pretty
know.
positive. We're getting a live action adaptation of like God of War. I don't want to say this year, maybe next year, but we're getting it soon. So
Hmm.
God of War should probably be on your radar. One VGA 95 exists. That is, I guess, the peak copy. There's no WATA 10s. There's 3.9, 9.8 A plus pluses, but then you go into 33, 9.8 A plus. And yeah, and eight VGA 90s.
Oh,
So
man.
outside of those top copies, man, there's a lot of mint God of War out there. You run into that with a lot of PS2 games. 9.8 A plus June 2024 for $850. In October, $1,200. Then the 9.6 A pluses were getting their way up to $700, both WATA and CGC in December. What do you think about paying around $1,000 for God of War 9.8 A plus PS2?
I would be a buyer at that because it's an important franchise if you're looking for, main IPs that have room to grow. And especially it's because it's PS2, like PS2 games still don't get the love that, the cardboard games do, but I mean, it's God of War, It's like Sony's continuing to invest into IP. They're making, TV shows out of it now, so it's one of their main IPs that they're probably just gonna keep milking for,
I was just say it
the
might
rest of
be their
whenever PlayStation's gonna go.
biggest at this point, or
Yeah,
like right there.
exactly. So unless if you think Sony's gonna get PlayStation's gonna get out of like the gaming phase, you should probably buy one. It's less than $1,000. It's not bad.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Less than 1,000. If you can get the 9.8 A plus for less than 1,000, I'm like, yeah, okay, you should probably shoot on that if you don't own one. If you care about PS2 collecting all that stuff, right? If you don't have one and you can get a 9.8 A plus under 1,000, go for it. But these 9.6 A plus copies, man, for around $700, like, ugh, that kind of leaves a
Yeah.
sour taste in my mouth right there.
Hey, it's probably new buyers, man. Like people like you or me is not. We're not gonna pay 700 bucks
I guess I
for
should
that.
say, when I was looking at data for this, there was a 9.8 A plus plus God of War second print. It's still black label. I think it doesn't have like the Dolby logo on the back or something, and it
Yeah,
doesn't have the security strip. So it is a
yeah.
definitive second print black label copy. The 9.8 A plus plus sold for $1,400. So you could either get 9.8 A plus first print for cheaper. That's what I'm saying about these condition people, man.
Hey, people are starting to understand that the A++ matters.
Sure, but they're buying a bad print. They're buying the second print.
Hey, I'm not. I wouldn't buy the second print either, but it just means that people are appreciating the A++ more, which they should for hard case games. I keep saying that A++ is the grade to get for
That's a great
non-cardboard games.
differentiator on hard case.
Yeah, I mean, like a 9.6 and 9.8, yeah, sure, it matters, but it doesn't matter as much as A++, in my opinion, for hard case games, because when you just look at it, you probably can't tell the difference between 9.6 and 9.8 when you're looking at a hard case game. You just
I
can't.
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
But I'm still not like, no part of me is dropping 700 on a 9.6. And that's a
Yeah,
pop
no.
report thing. It's a pop report thing where we already have 33 9.8s and 14 9.6. Funny enough, there's twice as many 9.8s as 9.6. So it's like, especially if you're going to hold on to it for a while, yeah, 9.8 or bust. It's 9.8 or bust on this. A lot of
9.8
PS2
A plus
gems.
or bust.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
9.8
A
A
plus.
plus or
Yeah.
bust.
Don't get an A. I didn't even write them
Don't get
down
an
because who
A. No,
cares?
do not get an A.
Yeah.
And
Don't
get it for
get.
a good price. Don't overpay for a 9A plus. They're out there. The 30 figure it them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 9.6A, 9.8A. Just go buy a raw copy. Just buy any raw copy on eBay for like $300 or whatever. You'll probably get that grade. So,
yeah.
but good game. I
And
think you should grab one if you don't have one. I have a 9.8A plus myself. So, like, I'm
yeah.
sad. I bought a raw copy on eBay. turned into a
Yeah,
9.88 plus.
that's pretty good. It's a hard
Won
case
an
scheme.
auction from Goodwill, I think, out of all
Oh,
places.
Goodwill. How much did you pay for it?
300 and a little bit.
That's a good come up. You could double up whenever you want.
No one
At
fought me on
least
it. My max bid was like 400 something. No one fought me. It's like,
there you
okay,
go.
all right. Keep your eyes open on those auctions, folks. But let us know. Variance. Are we getting more important as we go? Is condition going to trump? Where is the inflection point as to where it should matter? I'm definitely curious to your opinions on this. I know we tossed a lot of different, a lot of different examples at you guys. So definitely leave some comments down below. We monitor all of it. So let us know. And thanks for watching.
Greg loves CIB.
Yeah. Don't be an idiot buying a CIV. Like, what are you doing?
Oh man.